It's weather talk time. I apologize for being a little later than I wanted, but it happens. I'm going to get this shared out on social media. We're on Facebook and YouTube, and then we will get started shortly. Welcome in if you're just now joining us. We are going to talk about the severe weather threat for tomorrow, and it's looking a little nasty, a little ugly to say the least. Let me know where you're watching from late on this Thursday evening. We're going to get started in just a second. But there's me. There's the radar. And hope you're doing well. Meteorologist Shane Smith here. It is just a little bit after 10 o'clock. The old clock is, she's struggling. Always. Don't know why she does that, but she does. It's okay. I'll get it fixed one of these days. Just not today. All right, but we've got severe weather heading our way, friends, or at least the potential of it, and it's looking like a pretty good chance. It is not very often that the Storm Prediction Center puts out a moderate risk in Kentucky. That is a 4 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, and that just does not happen around here very often. And the majority of the time, not always, but the majority of time, when that happens, we get severe weather. And that risk is centered in central and western Kentucky. The rest of the state's under a 3 out of 5, an enhanced risk. It's enough that it has my attention. So let me know where you're watching from. Share this out. Hit like if you're watching on Facebook. Hit share. Same thing on YouTube. Let folks know what's going on so we can talk about what is happening. And we are looking at the potential of multiple rounds of strong to severe storms for Friday. We've already got a few rogue thunderstorms out there. Not a lot, but a few. Now we had a decent little one down around Corbin just before 9 o'clock this evening. And I suspect that we're going to see more as we head into tomorrow morning. So let's talk about what's going on. Let me know in the comments where you're watching from. If you have questions, throw them up there, and I will be happy to answer them. Right now, not a whole lot in the radar in our neck of the woods. Few light showers down just south of Manchester, east of London, eastern Laurel County, down towards Harlan. A little light rain showing up. Not a whole lot. A few scattered renegade showers could be hitting the ground near Bowling Green, Campbellsville, Glasgow. Also back in far western Kentucky, right along the Mississippi River over towards Hickman, Bardwell. We'll continue to see some light action tonight. What I'm interested to see what happens tonight is what initiates along the cold front and shoots forward. We're going to play a little game right now called Find the Cold Front. Can you find it? Can you find the area of low pressure it's swirling around? This one's not too hard. It is not as hard as you may think it is. There we go. There is the fronts on the map. Area of low pressure centered back towards Bismarck, North Dakota. Severe weather ongoing right now in Michigan. And we may see a few thunderstorms initiate overnight and early on Friday. There's still some questions about that. What there's not a question about in my mind is tomorrow that cold front's going to move across the bluegrass. And when it does so, we could see some nastiness. We could see some genuine, strong to severe weather. Not your garden variety thunderstorms, and not even your lower end severe weather. We're starting to throw around the significant word with some of the severe weather we could be seeing tomorrow. When we're talking significant, we're talking 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts or stronger. We're talking about 2-inch diameter hail, golf ball size. Few tornadoes also possible tomorrow. I'm going to switch things over to the satellite image right now, put it into motion to show you how very vigorous and big this this area of low pressure is that's spinning over the Dakotas. They've had just a pretty widespread severe weather outbreak across the upper Midwest today. I know a lot of people have been streaming that. It's been a potent event. A lot of large hail I've seen, a lot of damaging winds, a lot of intense lightning, heavy rain, and that threat continues for them overnight. When does it all get here to Kentucky? Well, that happens tomorrow. We're going to take a look at the models here in just a minute, but first I wanted to kind of give you a breakdown of what to expect. So for most of the state in the red, that includes the I-65 corridor in west and a little bit east of the 65 corridor, about one county over. So Bowling Green, Louisville, Paducah, Owensboro, Mayfield, all under that moderate risk, that 4 out of 5. That is very rare. You're talking severe weather percentages of 50% or higher. That's a coin flip. Anywhere within 20 miles of that red blob. In the enhanced risk in the orange for the rest of the state, a little bit lower chances, but still pretty good chances. An enhanced risk around here is enough to get my attention. We step that up to a moderate risk that really gets my attention. Is there a potential we go high risk tomorrow? I'm not going to completely rule it out. It's really going to depend on what happens tomorrow morning. But here's what each of those risks indicate. Moderate risk. We are talking high confidence that many storms will contain damaging winds, severe hail, and or tornadoes. And when we're talking significant weather, we're talking wind gusts of at least 75 miles per hour, hail of at least 2 inches in diameter, and tornadoes of at least an EF2 rating. So this is what the category means. So for all y'all in the red, the moderate risk, that is what we're expecting. For the eastern half of the state, take Lexington to Covington, down to London, Corbin, Williamsburg, points to the east. We're in that enhanced risk. High confidence that several storms will contain damaging winds, severe hail, and or tornadoes. So even though that is just under it, that's still enough to go, okay, time to pay attention. So let's break down the individual risks. First up, this is severe wind. This is wind gust over 58 miles per hour. The red on this is I believe it's 30 to 44%, yeah. And then the pink, or 30 to 44%, the pink 45 to 55 or 59% chance of damaging winds. So we're talking over half the state has somewhere in the ballpark of a 45 to 60% chance of damaging winds. And you'll notice the little hash marks on that. This is from the Storm Prediction Center. Those hash marks indicate significant wind damage. We're talking 75 mile per hour winds plus in the thunderstorms, anywhere in the Hatch area. So best chance in western Kentucky, but it still continues into central and eastern Kentucky. It's a similar situation with the hail, although the significant hail, that 2-inch diameter hail, I think is mainly going to be west of I-75. I think by the time the thunderstorms get here into central and eastern Kentucky, for the most part, they're going to weaken a bit because they're going to be coming in at night. But still could see quarter inch hail, not like quarter of an inch, but quarter size, 1 inch diameter hail. Y'all know how big a quarter is. That is severe criteria hail. Double that, golf ball size is 2 inches. So that's what we could see out in western Kentucky tomorrow. Tornado risk is not off the charts, but it's not negligible either. Anywhere in the yellow, a 10 to 14% chance, and the brown, a 5 to 9% chance. That's the entire state. It's at least in the 5% chance, up to the 10 to 14% chance in the yellow. Once again, notice it's hatched. That means a significant tornado risk, meaning tornadoes at least EF2. EF2s are pretty good tornadoes in Kentucky. Those have done a lot of damage. I've seen many fatalities from EF2s for people not taking it serious or getting caught unaware. So this is something to pay very, very close attention to as we go into your Friday. Okay, so how does it all play out? Let's bring up the models. Now, I'm going to be 100% transparent with you guys. The HRRR model has not been handling this situation great. In fact, none of the models have been handling it really good. Just know that we're going to use this as guidance, but don't take it as gospel. Also, be sure if you have questions to post them in the chat. I haven't seen any yet, but let me know where you're watching from. Let me know if you have any questions. Having a few issues, it looks like, maybe with the chat. So let me know if you can hear me and where you're watching from. All right, so let's go ahead and put this on into motion. Here we go. Let's go ahead, go into Friday morning. A lot of people wondering how the morning commute's going to be. Well, for some of us, it could be a little bit active. This is 6 a.m. East Coast time. Notice few strong thunderstorms near Louisville, back towards Owensboro, west of Bowling Green, between Bowling Green and Paducah. Those push into central Kentucky around 8 a.m. Eastern time, from Lexington down to Berea. That looks like to me maybe a Boeing segment, maybe some straight line winds with that. Don't sleep on the severe weather threat tomorrow morning. It's not the main threat. It's not the main event, but it could be enough to cause some issues. So that is something we're going to have to keep a very close eye on. We'll take you on in later through the day. This is trying to get a few cells during the middle of the day. We'll see if that happens or not. If that happens, that could weaken the main event later. But sometime tomorrow afternoon, I suspect we're going to see another round develop. If they are out discrete supercells on their own, not a part of the main line, watch out. This is when we could have our best tornado risk. Bowling Green, if the HRRR model is to be believed, 4 o'clock, I'd be paying real close attention to the weather. Somerset, 6 o'clock Eastern time. Richmond, 5 to 6. Now, once again, don't take this model as gospel, but just know, even here on the future radar, this is what worries me a little bit. Look at this cell, 7 o'clock East Coast time. I'm going to zoom that in over Laurel County. That is 7 p.m., and notice that little notch shape showing up on the future radar. Jennifer, I'm going to try to go over the timeline as we're going right now, so just stick with me. Austin, good to see you. Thank you for checking in. With that notch shape, that like that. There we go. Had to do it backwards. TV 101. It's always backwards into the camera. With that little hook shape, that is indicating rotating thunderstorms. That is a signature you would look on a real-time radar for a tornado. That hook echo, as they call it. The fact we're seeing that on the future radar, that worries me. That means the models are detecting the atmosphere is primed for the potential of severe weather. Now, one of the things we can do with this model is we can take a look at a potential sounding of the atmosphere. That's how the atmosphere looks vertically. Let me see how well this shows up on... Yeah, it's showing up good there on the screen. You'll notice that possible hazard type, Tor, that's for tornado. You'll notice winds at the surface here at the bottom of this diagram. From the south, you go up about 5,000 feet in the atmosphere due west. That rotation from south at the bottom of the atmosphere to west in the mid-levels is what we call shear. That's spin in the atmosphere. There is going to be a metric ton of shear tomorrow. That can cause those storms to spin. Spinning storms can lead to tornadoes. That is something we are going to have to keep a very, very close eye on tomorrow evening. This is around, once again, 7 o'clock, if this radar is to be believed. So we have the storm threat tomorrow morning. Some of those could be severe. That's not the main event. The main event likely starts tomorrow afternoon. Best chance, central and eastern Kentucky, we're going to say after 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we wait for the line to move in with the cold front. That is going to be late tomorrow evening for eastern Kentucky. Central Kentucky, 11 o'clock, just north of Lexington, Frankfort, back over towards E-Town, down into western Kentucky, you'll see the line of storms. And it will just continue to race eastward. Should move into eastern Kentucky after midnight. We're talking early morning wake-up call, Pikeville, Jackson, Mount Vernon, London. We're probably looking about 1, 2 in the morning tomorrow for that, if this model is correct. And then those storms clear on out, and we should dry up on the backside of this system. Now, we're going to get a little technical here. It's okay. I'm going to guide you through this. This is what we call CAPE, convectively available potential energy. My buddy Ryan Hall calls this nader juice. It's a good way of describing it. It's fuel for thunderstorms. Around here, you get CAPE levels up around 2,000. You can get some pretty good thunderstorms. That's where the yellows start on this scale. You start getting into the reds, 3,000. Whoa, Nelly. So let's go into tomorrow morning, about 6 a.m. Not much CAPE. That makes sense. We don't have the heating of the day. We need that sun to fuel up the atmosphere with energy. But watch what happens as we go into the afternoon. 1 o'clock, western Kentucky. CAPE levels approaching 5,000. If we see that kind of CAPE, watch out. That is a lot of thunderstorm fuel. Now, that will die down as we go into the evening hours, because once we lose the heating of the day, we start to lose that. But that's partly why that moderate risk is over western Kentucky. During the prime time for thunderstorms, the atmosphere is going to be turbocharged with energy. Not only that, this is the energy helicity index. So this looks at the energy available and the amount of spin and puts that into a single indice. A 2 is enough to say, hey, we could have some severe weather. You start getting 4 or above, or start getting into 6 and above, and it's like, oh, we could have some significant severe weather. Well, watch what happens. We're going to start off 6 o'clock East Coast time tomorrow morning. You'll notice it's not looking too terribly bad. If this will update. There we go. Go ahead and put that into motion. Start stepping in the future. Here we are, early afternoon. I'm going to let this catch up for just a second. The internet's still struggling a little bit. Notice some of those pockets down along the Kentucky-Tennessee border. Helicity index 6 or 7, that's a red flag. Those pinks, that's not good. That is a good indicator that all the ingredients could come together for some massive severe weather. Look at that over in western Kentucky. Some 8s and possibly 9s showing up. This is 5 o'clock East Coast time tomorrow. So you have that batch of supercells ahead of the front, and then the squall line with the front during tomorrow evening. And that just continues to push eastward. Now you'll notice those indices start to drop as the front moves in. We lower the energy once we lose the sun tomorrow. Significant tornado parameter. This is another index for measuring the potential of significant tornadoes. A tornado that is significant is at least EF2 or stronger. So we start out tomorrow morning. Not too bad. Austin, I don't know yet. If I do go live, it'll have to be after school. I am working tomorrow at my day job. So the significant tornado parameter is not too bad until we start getting into the afternoon. Here we go, 3 o'clock. Once again, some 4s showing up down in south central Kentucky, Lake Cumberland region. That's a little concerning. That's a, Then look at that. Wow, 5 o'clock. Laurel County, significant tornado parameter, almost a 5. Couple other spots out towards Danville, 4s and 5s. Bell County, 4 or 5. That means if we have thunderstorms ongoing at that time, tornadoes possible. Look there from Bowling Green to Louisville, right there, 6 o'clock. Once again, these are just indices. They're not guarantees, but it's something we look at to be like, okay, this puts a lot of things together, puts it into an easy to digest format, and when you start seeing those bright colors, that means there is the potential for some bad, ugly juju. And yeah, even going into the evening with that squall line, you're still seeing significant tornado parameters of 7 and 8 according to the HRRR. That may be a little high. Then on top of the hail threat, on top of the wind threat, on top of the tornado threat, these storms are going to be juiced with moisture, folks. We are talking potential for significant heavy rain. 2-3 inches, and I can tell you folks, the ground is already saturated. I walked out and fed my dog earlier, went down in the lower part of the yard, and it was a swamp. A lot of places saturated ground right now. You step on it, you get that sponge effect. We can't handle 2 or 3 inches of rain right now. So flash flooding is also on the table. Don't think it's going to be widespread, but isolated flash flooding definitely possible wherever we see heavier rain tomorrow into early Saturday morning. Do you think it will rain tomorrow for Pikeville? Austin Kendricks asking on YouTube. Austin, rain's a good bet. It's just when. Chance early tomorrow morning, chance mid-afternoon, best chance tomorrow night after midnight. We're talking for Pikeville, probably 2-3 o'clock in the morning is your ball's best chance for storms and severe weather in Pikeville. And here is the time of highest threat. This is what the National Weather Service in Louisville put together. I really agree with this graphic. So far western Kentucky from Owensboro back to Paducah, 2 to 5 Eastern time. So 1 to 4 local time out there. In that light gray, 3 to 6 Eastern time. That includes Louisville, E-Town, Bowling Green, and Hartford. Also up into Madison, Indiana. I know I've got some friends up close to there. In the kind of the light blue, the almost grayish blue, right along the I-75 corridor and either side of it, 6 to 9 Eastern time, best chance of severe weather. And then in the far eastern part of the state, in the darker blue, 8 to 11 is the best chance of severe weather. At least the onset of it. So plan your day accordingly. We are now in the day before. So if you need to adjust plans, if you need to get some of those travel plans rescheduled, if you've got outdoor activities tomorrow evening, western and central Kentucky, I might reconsider eastern Kentucky, kind of a crapshoot. I had some folks ask about a ceremony in Corbin tomorrow between 5 and 7. Going to be close. Make sure your phone can get WEA warnings. That's those emergency alert warnings. Make sure you are set to go with that. I would also suggest installing a weather app that can get warnings. Storm Radar is one. All your local TV stations have one. And ensure your storm shelter is clean and accessible. And if you live in a mobile home, now is the time to figure out, where am I going to go? Can I go to a business? Can I go to a church? Can I go to a friend? Can I go to a relative? Somebody with a sturdier structure. Because when it starts firing tomorrow, that's not when you want to figure things out. You want to have a plan beforehand. Now is the time to plan. If you got a helmet or a hard hat, put it in your storm shelter. Have pillows or mattresses ready to go in there, because you want to cover your head. If we start getting tornado warnings, cover your head, get in the interior of the house. Most tornado-related fatalities, head trauma. Tomorrow, during the day of, remind the family of the plan. Communicate with them. Know how to evacuate or get to shelter wherever you are. And if a warning is issued, you may only have seconds to take action. I work at a school during the day. We practice tornado drills. Hopefully we don't have to put those to use tomorrow. But I know it takes us about a full minute to get everybody into the shelter. Sometimes you may only have a minute or two. So just know you need to be very weather aware tomorrow. Now, where do we shelter at? Mobile homes, no go. No go tomorrow. Even for severe thunderstorms, mobile homes could be in trouble tomorrow. 75-mile-per-hour winds can roll a mobile home that's not anchored properly. You want to get in a sturdier shelter. Love mobile homes, love manufactured housing. It gives many people a good home at an affordable price. Not going to knock it. But when it comes to severe weather, that's not where you want to be. Now, if you're in a stick-built house, site-built house, a basement is ideal. A storm shelter is even better. If you don't have one of those, first floor, ground floor, interior room, no windows. You don't want to be on that exterior wall. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside world as possible. So that is where you need to go tomorrow. All right, we're going to zoom back in. Chris Tinnell on Facebook asking, could it be like 2012? And I know that's a sensitive topic around here. I remember that storm and that day very, very well, March 2nd, 2012. Now, I will tell you, Chris, that was a high-risk day. We're not there yet. There is the potential we go there. I think we're not quite there as far as what I'm seeing in severe weather ingredients, but we're not far off. This is probably the best chance we've had at widespread, significant, severe weather probably since that event. I don't think it may be as bad as that event, but it's been a long time since we've had a very, very potent, widespread tornado outbreak in Kentucky. Besides maybe the December tornado outbreak in 21, but that was mainly western Kentucky. This one definitely could push a little further east. So, good question there. Anybody else have questions? Be sure to drop them on Facebook or YouTube. Hit me up on Twitter, at @smithweather. Or, excuse me, X, formerly known as Twitter. Got to get that AP style in. Neil Middleton would be mad if I wasn't doing AP style. Neil, hope you're doing well. Miss you, my friend. The chances of severe weather are very high tomorrow. Hadn't been doing a whole lot weather-related lately because the weather had kind of calmed down and we had a lot of life going on. But yeah, the severe weather threat is real tomorrow. Just taking a look at some of those indices again. Moderate risk, 4 out of 5. In the bright red, that is a good chunk of the state. Very high risk of significant wind damage. In the pink, we're talking greater than 50% or right at 50% or higher. The hail, you could get some golf balls, some tennis balls out in western Kentucky tomorrow. And then that tornado threat is not as good as it could be, but it's still enough to make me concerned. Here's the thing about the tornado threat for tomorrow. Tornado threats want to really depend on two things tomorrow. One, how much does any morning storms we have tomorrow work over the atmosphere? The more morning storms and the more cloud cover we get, the lower the tornado threat. If we don't get a lot of morning storms and a lot of cloud cover, then the question becomes, does anything break the cap that's in place? And when that cap goes, you're going to see thunderstorms start billowing up. Yeah, Chris. The mountains got hammered. West Liberty, Salyersville. Like I remember that so well. I don't think, as far as the placement, the worst of it's going to be in Eastern Kentucky this time. This definitely screams more Western Kentucky. Skylar, good to hear from you. How long do you think these rainstorm outbreaks are going to last? Weeks, months, hopefully less. So this particular storm, this is just anything we got to deal with tomorrow and early Saturday. We catch a break. I think we may have another storm chance early next week, Tuesday, Wednesday. I've got to look a little closer at that one. Trying to handle them one at a time right now. The pattern we are looking at, though, going into early summer, like meteorological summer, starts June 1st, 15 days from now, I think. Looking active. I'm just going to say right now, it is looking active going into summer, which is not necessarily a good thing as far as the severe weather potential, because you get heat and humidity, cold air crashing into it. That's when problems happen, although you start seeing less cold air available as we move into the summer. But we've had some strong storms in the summer before. Summer, the big things you usually got to worry about are like microburst winds and hail. So we'll have to see. And then flooding, of course. Gosh, we all remember summer a couple of years ago in 22 for Eastern Kentucky. That was horrific. But we are definitely seeing an increase in like extreme precipitation events across all of Kentucky. We had the flooding earlier this year. Western Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky got it 2 years ago. Central Kentucky got it earlier this year. I don't want to leave them out because Frankfort got wrecked. Out in Western Kentucky got wrecked. Skylar, hope you're doing well. Hope college is going good this year. Any other questions I can answer? If you're catching this video late, once again, follow my pages. Hit the like button, the subscribe button, whichever platform you're on. There is a chance I may do some wall-to-wall severe weather coverage tomorrow. I have not done that in a long time. We'll see if I can still do it. But we may have to dust the old chief meteorologist hat off for that one. Any other questions about the weather threats for tomorrow? Just to give you all another sense of the timing, this is what the Weather Service in Louisville put out, and I really, really agree with this. This is like when the chance of the best threat starts for each part of Kentucky. So Western Kentucky, 1 to 4 local time. I-65 corridor, 3 to 6 Eastern time, 2 to 5 Central time. I-75 corridor, 6 to 9. Far Eastern Kentucky, pretty much Highway 15 East, 8 to 11 is when the worst of it should kick off. Should being the key word as of right now. This, once again, guys, the models are going to struggle in this scenario. Good question there, Chris. What do we need for the storms to weaken tomorrow? Excellent question. We can actually take a look at one of those things right now. Here's a satellite image. We've got a lot of cloud cover tomorrow, or a lot of cloud cover right now. If you want to keep a lid on the storms and keep the storm potential down, pray for clouds tomorrow. We want cloud cover. Cloud cover is our friend. Clearing will juice up the atmosphere. So that's one thing. You also probably want some storms to break out tonight. Let me switch to the radar. See what we got going west of us. You want some storms to break out tonight, carry us into tomorrow morning. And we're seeing a little initiation along the front out west of Paducah. We'll see if anything pops up. I'll go ahead and put the radar into a loop over the last 3 hours. Or, excuse me, last hour. You want rain tomorrow morning and clouds to soak up the energy. The more sunshine we get, the worse off we're going to be tomorrow. The higher the temperatures, the worse the storms are going to be. Period. End of discussion. So pray for clouds and cool weather tomorrow. Any other comments or questions? Had some good ones. Thank you guys for watching this. Please hit that share button. We're close to and hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We're close to 400 subscribers. I'm wanting to do some more with the channel and the pages this summer. Trying to get a little bit back more active into it. And we'll see how it goes, folks. All right, y'all. Well, that seems to be an end of the questions. We've been going about 30 minutes. That seems like a good amount of time to wrap this up. I'll have some updates as I can post them on social media tomorrow, but look for potential live stream tomorrow evening. So till next time, friends, take care.